Thank you very much. You're all welcome to this session today. I'm so happy to be here. If you know me or if you follow me online, you will know that I always look forward to speaking to students because I believe that you guys are like the next generation of agripreneurs that this country earnestly needs. So I'm so happy to be here. I am going to share my screen now. All right. Good morning once again, everyone. I know I didn't introduce myself earlier, so I'll just jump right into it. My name is Latifah Aitse Lawal. I am an agribusiness specialist. I currently work with NERSAL. NERSAL means Nigerian Incentive-Based Risk Sharing System in Agricultural Lending. I'm based in Abuja, and I'm really happy to be here today. I'm here on behalf of the Blink Tech Solutions, who have given me this platform to speak to you amazing students today. Remember, I said you are the next generation of agripreneurs that this country earnestly needs. I'm really happy to be here today, essentially. Right? And today's session would be on smart agribusiness, turning agricultural knowledge into tech-driven opportunity. Actually, this session will be about changing how we think about agriculture. And most importantly, I think the key and the backbone of this session is to see how we can use tech or how we can leverage tech to drive real scalable opportunity in the agriculture space. Okay. And so today's presentation will take this outline. Key objective for me is I want you guys to go home with something today. I want you to go home with something that will change the future of agriculture in Nigeria. Okay, and so today's class, let me call it a class. Today's class will be divided into 4 sessions. The first session, first of all, please, I hope you all have your writing pads and your pens because I want you to take notes. Thank you. All right. The first session is about the mindset shift. We'll look at agriculture as a business. Okay. We'll start rethinking agriculture from subsistence farming to commercial farming. We'll also look at the agripreneur mindset, where we'll try to solve problems and create value. Then I'll show you some examples of success stories from young African agribusiness founders like you. And then we'll end that session with an activity which is called Pitch Your Problem, where you get to identify one agriculture challenge you would love to solve. And then we move on to the second session, which looks at us exploring the agribusiness value chain. We look at the overview of the agri value chain from the beginning to the end, which is from before you plant all the way to the food gets to the final consumer. Then we look at something we call the value chain mapping. We'll identify where opportunities exist. We'll look at market research, and then we'll have a group task. I'll figure out how we're going to achieve this group task. Okay, and then we move to the next session, which is infusing technology and data in agribusiness. Right? We'll look at the use of tech in modern farming and agribusiness. We'll look at overview of key innovations in 2025. We'll look at tools we can use for data collection and use. And then we'll end the session again with an activity. And then finally, we move to session 4, where we look at how to build your agribusiness idea. Every one of us here will leave this room with an agribusiness idea. Remember, I said you're going to thank me in the future, but you will leave this room with a business idea that can bring you money in the future. Okay, so under this session, we'll look at how to turn ideas into viable ventures. We'll look at the basics of a one-page agribusiness plan. We'll look at how we can fund our idea or our business, our potential business, and then we'll have a final exercise where we will draft, each of us will draft an agribusiness idea that has a tech or data element in it. Like I said, my name is Latifah Aitse Lawal, and I hold a Bachelor of Science degree in chemistry and an MBA in marketing. Sometimes I wish I studied agriculture at the university, but it's actually not too late. I am a 2-time Danida Fellowship Scholar, where I acquired diplomas in sustainable livestock production and food safety in the dairy sector from the University of Copenhagen in Denmark. I actually got 2 scholarships to study these courses. I also possess an advanced diploma in agribusiness management program from the Lagos Business School. I'm currently running my master's in agribusiness at Rome Business School. I have over 16 years extensive working experience in industries such as telecoms, banking, and of course, agribusiness. And for the last 8 years, I have worked at Nursal, where I've played various roles such as project manager, business analyst, and I currently head the mechanization desk, where I try to facilitate finance for various players in the mechanization space. Okay, I also offer advisory services to various players across the value chain, where I provide invaluable insights and guidance for success. So we move to session 1. And before we move into session 1, I would like to ask anybody, can anyone tell me what is agribusiness? Session 1 is all about mindset shift. So I want to ask, what is agribusiness? Please raise up your hands if you have an idea of what agribusiness is. Okay, agriculturist DY, please introduce yourself and answer. Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ekundalua Shium by name. I am, to my own understanding, agribusiness is basically the agriculture and business infusing both together. So it's just the business aspect of agriculture, turning all the old knowledge or the new ideas we have about agriculture into a business. Thank you very much.
That is fantastic. Please, you guys, give him a round of applause from your emojis. That is just it. Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. So session 1 is all about the mindset shift. Okay, so in Nigeria for many years, right? Not even just Nigeria, in Africa, but let's focus on Nigeria. We have looked at agriculture as a way to survive, right? As a life for poor people or people in the village, right? Not to grow, not to scale, not to thrive, just to survive, right? And so we call that subsistence farming. It's like when a family owns a small piece of land, right? And they're just growing enough food to feed themselves, and maybe the remaining, they'll just sell it for peanuts, right? It's usually very, very labor intensive, right? And basically this rethinking agriculture, I want us to compare that kind of farming, which we call subsistence farming, to what it should actually be, which is commercial agribusiness. So just like I mentioned, in subsistence farming, it's small land holding, just a really little piece of land, usually family owned. But when you talk commercial, we're looking at large pieces of land, right? At least from 10 hectares to 100 hectares to thousands of hectares. You understand? And then, like I mentioned earlier, subsistence farming is majorly about producing enough for the family to consume. But when we look at commercial agribusiness, we're looking at not just for self-consumption, but for local, national, and if possible, export markets, right? And the subsistence farming, we look at, in fact, there is little or no use of technology. That's just the truth. If you go to the villages, like inside villages, they don't use any form of technology. Everything is crude, manual, labor, you understand? But in commercial, it leverages things like technology, data, and even mechanization. Okay, and then, like I mentioned earlier, subsistence farming is more or less about surviving. Oh, what will I eat tomorrow? What will I eat today? But if you're looking at commercial agribusiness, we're focusing on profit, growth, and value addition. These 3 things should be your driving force: profit, growth, and value addition. So today I want you to shift your thinking, okay, from survival to scale. Okay, we're moving from just mere farming to agribusiness. All right, so once you start seeing, just like agriculturist said, I didn't get his name, just like he said, when you start looking at agriculture as a business, you start to see the endless possibilities. Okay, and now let's move on to the next slide. Right, and now that we were trying to shift our mindset from survival to scale, let's talk about the agripreneur, which is all of us in this room. Okay, let's talk about the kind of person that can thrive in modern agriculture, which is all of us in this room. We are what I like to call the agripreneur. So an agripreneur like you and I, we are supposed to have a mindset which is solving problems. If you've been at any of my previous sessions with Blink Tech, you would know that I always emphasize that I love problems, because whenever I see problems in agriculture, I see it as opportunity. You understand? I see it as an opportunity to make money, and that's just the truth. Okay, so once you have that mindset of solving problems and creating value, trust me, you are on the right path to prosperity. Okay, so agripreneurs should see farming as opportunity, not as an obligation or not as something that you need to survive, but as an opportunity. Remember, I said for profit, growth, and value addition. Okay, and then as an agripreneur, you should ask, what problem can I solve in agriculture? That's the very first question. Entrepreneur in agriculture, how can I create value? Where is the gap in the system? What can I do differently that the market or that people will pay for? You understand? This mindset, a regular farmer cannot have this mindset, but somebody like you and I in this room, we can be creators, innovators, and strategists, right? You have to start thinking of solution provider. Think as a solution provider. You understand? Focus on innovation, value addition, and scale. Not just about putting your, let's say, your maize seed in the ground and just harvesting it. No, it is much more beyond that. You understand? It is much more beyond that. Okay, so agripreneurs, just like agriculturists said, you blend agriculture, business, and technology to create sustainable impact. And just to add to the definition that he gave, agribusiness is basically the business side of agricultural production and services. Okay, all from when you have your seeds all the way to when it gets to the final consumer. Okay, so as we move forward, I will keep emphasizing, I want you to start thinking like an agripreneur, not just a student of agriculture, but as a future founder, investor, or innovator in the agriculture space. Okay, so before we get into the nitty-gritty of these presentations, I want to show you guys some examples of young people, right? Real life success stories of young Nigerians who are making wave in the agribusiness sector. Okay, there are people like you, trust me, they practically, after they finished university, launched, and they are making waves, just like you and I. Right? They are building innovative businesses by combining agriculture with technology. Remember, I said at the beginning of this session, technology is at the backbone of what we're doing today in agribusiness. And these guys are right at the center of it. I'll start with Femi Adekoya. Femi Adekoya is the founder of Integrated Aerial Precision. The company uses drones and data to support precision farming. Does anybody know Femi Adekoya? Have you ever heard of Femi Adekoya? Online, offline, anywhere? You can just say, you can answer if you know. Okay. So they use drones, right, to fly over large expanse of land to help farmers analyze their crops, to monitor the fields, and all of that. They use drones. Remember I said commercial. For commercial, you're looking at large sizes of land, but now moving from the smallholder farmer that has not up to 1 hectare to over 10, 100, and thousands of hectares. And if you know what a football field looks like, a football field is the estimated size of 1 hectare. So imagine having multiples of hectares. It would be difficult to have humans actually go around such large sizes of land. So what Femi does is to use drones to do all of that work, to travel through kilometers, thousands of kilometers, to actually have an aerial view of a large, expanse of land. Okay, so that's what Femi Adekoya does. And the next we have is Osato Omo Osemwinge. Osato, she's the owner of El Gazelle Foods, and then they use solar power technology, right, to process hygienic kilishi. And this lady, I see her online, she has distributorship not just in Nigeria but abroad in several countries. She's using the knowledge she gained from agriculture and technology to make a name for herself. Okay. And then we have Oyin Ashaju, who is the talent chief in talent in agriculture. She helps farmers manage their operations better by connecting them to digital tools and market access. She also uses technology. You can hear digital tools here, right? So she basically links agriculture to structure, strategy, and systems, okay, leveraging technology. And of course, we have Farmer Samson Ogbole, right? He's like one of the most visible advocates of soilless farming in Nigeria, right? You see him everywhere, both in Nigeria and abroad. He's constantly advocating, right, for soilless farming techniques like hydroponics and aeroponics, where you don't necessarily need too much land to plant. Okay, he has systems that he can use to farm successfully, and he has results to show. So why am I sharing all these stories? Because I want you to see what is possible, right? These are people who chose to think differently, and the truth about it is agriculture is such a lucrative space that as a young person, once you can identify an opportunity and identify the technology that will help you drive this opportunity, the world stops and listens. These 4 people on this screen, they have the attention of the world. These guys get opportunities not just in Nigeria but abroad. They are constantly traveling, showcasing, their solutions and all of that. Okay, so remember I said in agriculture, once you see a problem, do not run away. Okay, instead of running away, think of solutions. Remember these guys and tell yourself, if they can do it, so can you. Okay, and then now we move to the next slide, which is an activity for all of us. Okay, and so this activity is called Pitch Your Problem. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a few minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, I want you to reflect and write down one agriculture related problem you would love to solve. Just think. Okay, everybody, please, I want you to, and I'm going to call you randomly to tell me the agriculture related problem you'd love to solve. So let me give you some tips. Remember I said, think like a solution provider, not just a student. 1. Secondly, what frustrates you about farming or food in Nigeria? Think about it. 3rd, when you see waste, do you see stress or inefficiency? Okay, where do you see waste, stress, or inefficiency? Okay, and what problem would you love to fix if you had the tools? All right, so just write it in one sentence. I'm giving you 3 minutes. This is 12:38, 12:41. I would randomly call some people to tell me what their problem is. Remember, we're not developing anything, we're just writing down what the problem is. Okay, if you have written down your problem, please raise up your hands so that I can just start calling. Okay, and if I don't see any hands up, I would call people randomly, but I want to hear from as many people as possible. Okay, we have 2 more minutes. Just think about it. Any problem at all. Just think about a problem you think you can solve. Remember I said, do not run away from problems. Problems are opportunities to make money. Problems are opportunities to be rich. So don't run away from problems. Just think about a problem in the agriculture space. As little as you think it is, write it down. Something that you think you can come up with a solution for. Okay, we still have 2 more minutes. So I can give you some tips actually. So if you go to the market, you see some places where they have rotten tomatoes that have spoiled before they even get to the market. This can be a problem, or you can see farmers struggling to clear their land. This can be a problem. Or you can see that many youths in the village, they are running to Lagos and to Kano and to urban areas because they don't want to have anything to do with agriculture. This can be a problem. I just want you to think deeply and write it down. This thing you write down, trust me, it might be the beginning of your agribusiness, not agriculture, your agribusiness journey. Okay, we have 1 more minute to go, and then I'll start calling people randomly. Okay, the time is up, so I will start calling people. The first on my list, I have Aisha Zangina. Please let me have your problem. What problem would you like to solve? Okay, no comment from Aisha. Ali, Hawa, do you want to say something now?
Yes. I said drought. Drought.
Oh, drought. Fantastic. Where are you located?
Currently in Kano.
Okay, fantastic. All right, thank you very much. Okay.
And gestation period.
Okay, gestation period for what exactly? For which commodity?
Gestation period of trees.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Awa, for sharing. Please, I'm going to call on Divine Kershima. Can I please have your problem?
Okay, so I would say building storage facilities from close to farm to avoid spoilage before getting to urban areas.
Fantastic. Divine, where are you located?
Kaduna.
Okay, building storage facilities before it gets to market. What commodity are you looking at specifically?
Perishable good produce.
Okay, produce like tomatoes, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're looking at cold chain logistics or cold chain storage facilities, right?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. I have Esther's hand up. Esther, please take the floor. Please, let's hear your thoughts. What problem would you like to address, or what problem have you identified? Okay. Yeah, good afternoon.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Sure. Okay.
So I don't know. I would like to solve a problem, but I see myself streamlining and solving a particular problem easily than the other. One problem I would like to solve is to cut down the inflation of the prices of food, making it available to people who want to consume them personally, or making it available to people who want to resell, so that it's not so expensive.
Yeah.
So I have asked questions and I've looked around, and I saw that one way to do that would be to address the issue of the association's fund on the farmers, especially people who are still the farmers that are trying to farm. They have the cost that is being placed on them from the association. And then another thing would be to also make available some tools that especially if I have like a particular target farmers around, would be to make available some tools that are not that would enhance the productivity.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So what location are you in?
I'm in Lagos, but currently what I've been able to streamline my thoughts to is solving the problem of logistics, because I feel like that would still make sense a little. Yes, to
all right.
make available a logistic organization that would a logistic means that would at least help those people who are still producing at a very good level to bring it down. That would also reduce the cost of the food. So that's how
Okay, very, very, very valid. I like this point you made because it's not a conventional point. So what I'm hearing from what you're saying is that there is a need to reduce the cost of production of whatever commodity, because once that cost is low, then of course the food prices will not necessarily have to be high. And then of course you mentioned logistics. So thank you very much. So let's move to Mariam. Mariam, your hands are up. Let's hear your thoughts.
Good afternoon.
Yes, please.
My thought is also related to the last person that spoke, based on transportation entirely of goods from like the rural area to the urban, because most of the farmers are in the rural area. So there's a bit of issue in transportation and all of that, and that's also contribute to the hike in these goods prices.
Okay, fantastic. Where are you located?
I'm currently in Kano.
In where?
Kano.
Okay, thank you very much, Mariam. This is a very, very important activity. Trust me. Saif, please, can I hear your problem?
Okay, good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon.
The problem I think I want to solve is lack of labor in like local farms.
Okay, lack of labor. But when you say lack of labor, what exactly do you mean?
Like lack of workers that are working in like
Okay,
small farms.
Lack of workers. Where are you located?
In Kano State.
Okay, you're also in Kano. What's your surname, Saif?
I'm Saifullah Mustafa.
Saifullah Mustafa. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Usman Ibrahim and Chow. Can you tell us your problem, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Usman Ibrahim, and so the problem that I'm thinking is the issue of marketing system. Uh, for example, in rural areas where a lot of them they are marketing on weekly. With them, we can create a platform where we will be exploring potential buyers and be linking them with the farmers.
Okay, Usman, can you take the problem again? I'm not sure I heard you
Mm.
well.
I'm saying I'm talking about the marketing system.
Okay, markets.
Uh, Yes, our farmers majority are in the rural areas, and
Mm-hmm.
their market normally runs mostly weekly. Yes,
Okay.
with that we can create a platform where we be exploring the potential buyers across the country and be linking them with the farmers.
Fantastic, fantastic. I really like this problem because of what use it is when the farmer plants and he cannot sell. You understand? So
Of
you're
course.
saying that for this problem you want to create a platform where you can link the
Mm,
producers to the final consumers, right?
yes, ma.
Okay, thank you very much. That's really brilliant. Okay,
Mm,
so does anyone else have a problem they'd like to share? Let me see. Okay, Muhammad Jamil, please let's have your problem. And please, everyone, take note of every other person's problem. Okay, it can also help you like open up your thinking, your mindset, essentially. Okay, Rukaya Adam, Faith Omeza, please let me hear from you guys. Okay.
Good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, ma. My name is Faith Clement from Mega Factory.
Okay.
Yeah. The problem I'm trying to address is problem of seasonal food and food insecurity.
Seasonal food and food insecurity.
Insecurity, yes.
Okay. Can you just throw more light into that?
Yes, I'm trying to address the problem of seasonal food and food insecurity caused by poor preservation and limited access to agro knowledge and weak market linkages amongst smallholder farmers.
Fantastic.
So
I really like
this gap. I can bridge this gap by creating a platform or serving as an agro broker, as a broker between farmers and buyers.
Okay, fantastic. But the seasonality, how do you plan to address the seasonality of food availability?
So during the dry season or off-peak periods, farmers often struggle to feed their livestock and store harvested crops, which can lead to livestock weight loss or death due to food shortage rather. Then to losses and which because of farmers can't store or process crop properly, which can also reduce their income during lean seasons.
I think that's a really good one.
Yes, so in this period I can just serve as a broker, an agro broker that we connect the farmers and the buyers so that their food, according to what the last person said just now about connecting farmers and the buyers together, so that from doing this, it will reduce the spoilage of food or their products or produce.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes,
yes, of course. This is a very valid one. Thank you very much. Okay, does anybody else have anything to say? Just save this problem in your books, okay? We'll come back to it later. Okay, so if we have nothing else, let's continue with our presentation. Thank you to everyone that participated. in this activity. Okay.